Stop watching CNN. Stop reading the newspaper from America. Just stop, because we have a very important thing to tell you. They've told you that your families are broken and unimportant. They've told you that your children are better off if they're raised by the government. They've told you that your faith in God is a misplaced notion of olden times. We're not going to let George Soros or Joe Biden or whoever divide us.
The American election is important for this reason. The world is in a worse place, a more dangerous place than it's been at any point since the Cuban Missile Crisis, and even I wasn't born when that happened. Strong American leadership, standing up to bullies, and leading a strong NATO are absolutely vital for our national security. And I believe the world was a much better, safer place with Donald Trump in the White House than it's been with Joe Biden.
His foreign policy was the best one for the world in the last several decades I have seen. And if he would have been the president at the moment of the Russian invasion started, no, it would be not possible to do that by the Russians. So Trump is the man who can save the Western world and probably the human beings in the globe as well.
I called President Trump and told him I wanted to be here myself to call out what is a travesty of justice, and I think everybody around the country can see that. President Trump is a friend, and I wanted to be here to support him. It's painfully obvious that we're now 6 months out from an election day, and that's the reason. That is the reason why they brought these charges here and across the country. The crime that they are accusing President Trump of is falsification of business records. But I think everybody knows he is not the bookkeeper for his company. President Trump is innocent of these charges.
So the whole thing is legal expense was marked down as legal expense. Think of it. This is the crime that I committed that I'm supposed to go to jail for 187 years for. When you have violent crime all over this city at levels that nobody's ever seen before, where you have businesses leaving, and businesses are leaving because of this, because heads of businesses say, man, we don't want to get involved with that. I could go through the books of any business person in this city, and I could find things that in theory, I guess, let's indict him, let's destroy his life. But I'm out there, and I don't mind being out there because I'm doing something for this country, and I'm doing something for our Constitution. It's very important, far beyond me. And this can't be allowed to happen to other presidents. It should never be allowed to happen. The public understands, and they understand what's going on. This is a scam. There's a rigged trial. It shouldn't have been in that venue. We shouldn't have had that judge. He should have allowed us to have an election expert. We had the best expert, most respected expert, head of the Federal Elections Commission. He was all set to testify. He was waiting for 2 days. And when it was his turn, Bragg's people protested. And the judge knocked him out, said you can't testify.
Mercy and I have a message from America. Stop watching CNN. Stop reading the newspaper from America. Just stop, because we have a very important thing to tell you. In America, vamos a ganar. And in America, we're going to win because Donald Trump is going to be our president again. Literally days, literally months from today, Americans will stand up because they've been lied to. The American people have been lied to by the same people that are lying to you here in Spain. They've told you that your families are broken and unimportant. They've told you that your children are better off if they're raised by the government. They've told you that your faith in God is a misplaced notion of olden times. The reason why America will win and the reason why Donald Trump will be the president of the United States again is because we reaffirm at this moment our faith in God, our belief in His truth. We honor all the life that He gives us, and we cherish our own individual life, and we thank Him that He has put us in this fight for freedom, this fight for civilization, this fight for our future. And one of the most important parts of that fight is that all of us stand together, that we unify conservatives, people who believe in our traditions, people of faith, We're not going to let George Soros or Joe Biden or whoever divide us. You know, in America, they call Joe Biden Mr. Big. I say it's time to call him Mr. Yesterday. And what a shame. It's shameful that in the United States of America, this wonderful country, it's shameful that the Democratic Party and the left have embraced Hamas over Israel. It's shameful. You know, the conservatives in America, we're the peace lovers. You know, we learned long ago that when we're strong and we build up our military and we stand with our friends, you actually don't have to use your military that much because they fear it. And when you have a president who people fear because they know he will stand up for what is right and not just pick fights for the sake of it, all of us are better off. It's time for us all to embrace this idea. It is time for us to embrace the idea that the stereotypes that come from the media, that come from social media, that come from the oligarchs, that come from Brussels, that come from the United Nations, that come from the WHO, that come from these phony but very powerful globalist institutions. It's time for us to throw away the lies they say about conservatives, about people who believe in freedom. And our message from America is very simple. Hands off our kids, hands off our families, hands off our freedoms, and you will not be able to cheat, lie, and steal your way into power.
The enemy from within, they are doing damage to this country. They want open borders, they want high interest rates, they now want to quadruple your taxes. In my life I watched politics and it was always like politicians want to lower taxes, not quadruple them. I think we've set a record beyond all records for fundraising. That's like a poll. And another one just came out just before I got in that we're 6 points higher than we were before. So I don't know if that holds up. I mean, I'm just not sure, but people get it. It's a scam. And the Republican Party is really, they've stuck. They stick together in this. They see it's weaponization of the Justice Department, of the FBI.
This was a stitch-up. This was a hatchet job. I mean, look at the fact that the person prosecuting for Alvin Bragg, who, as you say, campaigned, because we have this weird thing where we have prosecutors who are elected to office, campaigned on putting President Trump in prison. A man who, by the way, was also funded by George Soros in that campaign. And then who's his line prosecutor in the case? Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. Matthew Colangelo. Who's Matthew Colangelo? Well, he parachuted in from Washington, D.C., where he was the number 3, the third most senior law enforcement officer in Biden's Department of Justice. Never before in the history of federal law enforcement does the third highest ranking official in the federal Department of Justice just magically fall all the way down the snakes and ladders to become a line prosecutor in a local court in New York. Why did he take that massive pay cut? Because he's doing the bidding of Joe Biden in that courtroom. The whole thing was a farrago. This is how they want to steal the election before the first ballot is even cast.
If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to spread more awareness. Share your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation. Your engagement helps us bring more content to light. Remember, stay informed, stay engaged.